Hello, Emma McNally here from Achieve Your Greatness, and today I want to share with you a tool called Disney Creativity Strategy. It's a beautiful tool that you can use within your business and within your home life in terms of innovation and creativity. So, have you ever had a time where you felt stuck? Maybe an issue had happened at work. Maybe something globally had happened that impacted your business and what was going on in your life, and you needed to find a solution and you needed to find a new way of doing things. Or maybe due to no fault of your own, you find yourself stuck at home for a period of time, or that something's happening within the family that you just need to find a new way forward, some new ideas to be creative. Well, this is an amazing tool that's going to help you with that, okay? It's not going to take away your problem, but it's going to help you free up your conscious capacity and some space within your thinking to actually be really creative, to come up with something new, something amazing that's going to help you move forward. So, Disney Creativity Strategy, as it suggests, is basically modelled from Walt Disney. So Robert Dilts, within the Neuro-Linguistic programming world, modelled how Walt Disney was able to be so creative within his world, and modelled it so that we can use that tool to have a similar level of success within our world, which is pretty cool, right? So let's talk you through what you need to do and why the stages are so important. So you've got the dreamer stage. This is the part where you become really creative, okay? This is the bit where you dream. No holds barred. You think about all of the things that you could do. Now, some of you may think, yeah, I do that already. And some of you go, well, that's the one that's a bit of a stretch. There's a way that we do this so that it can really help you. So I don't know whether you've ever had a time where you've had a really good idea and then immediately afterwards, either yourself or somebody else has turned around and went, yeah, but. Yeah, ever had that? Yeah, but what about? Yeah, but that won't work, okay? The reason why this works so well is when you're in this dreamer space, all you're thinking about is what you could do. The rest comes later. So it's what you could do to create some new ideas, some new solutions to whatever's going on for you. Okay, and then you've got the realist. So once you've created all of those ideas, you then move into the realist space. Now the realist space is that pragmatist, that planner within you. Okay, so what could I do to enable that to happen? So how could I plan for that? And once you've been in that space, you can then move to the critic space. And that's the bit that is then, yeah, but what would happen if, and how could I make this work, and what are the downsides, what are the good parts that we need to think about. So this is how the process works. What we do first of all is we anchor into each of these spaces. Now what that means is you're going to feel those feelings, seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, feeling what you feel when you are experience that state of creativity, for example, the dream state. So the way you're going to do this is, if you want to, get 3 pieces of paper, pop them on the floor, okay? Then think of a time when you were really, really creative. So we're going to do the dreamer one first. Really, really creative, okay? Go back to that time in your mind and think about how that felt and experience those feelings right now. What does that feel like to be really creative? What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you experiencing? What are you saying to yourself when you're really creative? And once you've got those feelings really, really strong within you, you take a step forward into that space and build them even more, make them even stronger for you. And then when you're feeling really fabulous, leave them there in that space and take a step out, okay? So that's what we've done to create a space that's all around dreaming, okay? And then what you can do is just test how strong that feels. And you can take a step in and feel what that feels like. And if it needs more, then build it up even more. Get back into that space of dreamer, of creativity, and make it really, really strong for yourself. Okay? Once you've done that, you can take a step out, do a bit of a jig, whatever you want to do in between. It's entirely up to you. And then we come to the realist. So number 2. So this is about when you think of a time when you were super great at organising and planning. So maybe it was going on holiday, maybe it was planning a workshop, a training, maybe it was a project at work, maybe you were doing an extension at home, something where you're really good at planning and organising. And just take yourself again into that space. Think about how you felt, what you saw, what you heard, what you were saying to yourself, and just make those feelings really strong. Make them absolutely fabulous for yourself, okay? And then when you're feeling those feelings, being super organised, on top of it, planning, you can take a step in to that space, the realist space, okay? Make them even better. Make those feelings even better, make what you see even brighter, change that also it's absolutely fabulous for you. Then take a step out and leaving that there in that space. And then you test, okay? So take a step in to the realist. How does it feel? Is it good? Is it strong enough? If so, fabulous. If it's not, build it up even more, okay? Once you've done that, you walk around to the critic space, okay? And this is a time when you have been able to give constructive, good feedback, yeah? Being able to notice what's going to work and to be able to give some constructive feedback about the bits that need to be adjusted to increase the level of success, okay? So what you're going to do with this one is exactly the same. Take yourself to that time or think about what it's like to be able to do that. Seeing what you see, hearing what you hear, feeling what you feel, and saying what you say to yourself when you are being that person of being able to give constructive feedback and being able to absolutely see what's going to work and what needs adjusting within a program. Okay? Take a step in, build those feelings even more, make them even stronger, make them absolutely perfect for you, and then leave them there on the floor and take a step out. Okay? Then we test yet again. Take a step in. How does that feel? Is it strong enough for you? Is it good enough? If yes, great. If not, build it even more. Okay? So that's the first round. We've then anchored each of these in these spaces on the floor. Now remember, you can do this with your kids too, right? Because this is a great way of getting your kids, your teams involved in this, even if you have to do it via Zoom or via Skype or any other way virtually because of circumstances, okay? So you can just get people involved in this. Okay, you can even use it for community work, for ideas for charity, all sorts of things. So, are we ready for phase 2? So phase 2 is where you think about your issue or problem, okay? Think about what it is that you need to be creative around, and then step into that dreamer space and dream. So think about all of the things that you could do. And as I say, this is where you can come up with all sorts of ideas, all sorts of things, and just keep getting those ideas through and just purely creative. And when you get to that point where you think, can't think of anything else, go even further. What else could you do? What else could you do? What else could you do? Until you get to that point where you've got lots and lots of ideas. Take a step out of that, and then take the ones that you really want to take forward and step into the realist. And then start the planning. So what would you need to do to enable that to happen? What could that look like? Yeah? And do that planning bit. Well, what was the first steps? Okay? How would that look? How would it work? What would you need to do? Then once you've got a bit of a plan, you can then move into the critic space and say, okay, so what adjustments do we need to ensure that it's successful? So once you've got all of that information, you step back into the dreamer space, taking all of the wisdom from the realist, so the planning, all of the wisdom from the critic, taking it back into the dreamer space so that you can just take those ideas and be even more creative. Now, it may be that just the once round you get the ideas that you want and that will be enough for you. Or it might be that you want to go round a number of times until you have got the solution to something that you're excited about, something that you want to do. And the reason why this works so well is because, yes, you need all of those parts when you're making a decision, when you're being creative, okay? What can happen though is your ideas sometimes get stifled and never get off the ground because the critical, the realist is jumping in too soon. Or if you just sit in the critic space all the time, then you're never going to come up with something new and never going to be innovative. We need every single step in the process, but it needs to be in the right order. The order is so important. Creative first, realist, put the plans around it, critic, what could go wrong, what could go right, what can we do about it, and then back to the dreamer. And round you go until you get something amazing and incredible. So anyway, I hope this helps. I know it's a quick gallop through this process. I use it for myself on my business in terms of being creative, in terms of new ideas all the time. And I think in this environment at the moment, we need to be creative. We need to be thinking of new ideas and have a play with this tool. If you want any more information about Neuro-Linguistic program, how it can help you, how it can help your business, then I'd love to hear from you. The way to contact us is via our website. It's www.achieveyourgreatness.co.uk. So look after yourselves, stay safe, and I will be doing some more videos very soon. Thank you for listening. Bye.